Hey pals, Zach Elmblad here from Elmblad Media Group at elmbladmedia.com. Here in the Park Trade Center at my office in downtown Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I'm just realizing now that it's been almost an entire year since I uploaded a video on my personal YouTube channel. So for those that don't know, I do have another YouTube channel, Elmblad Media Group, which I should link up here or something in a card. I don't know. It'll appear somewhere in the links below or something. And I've been studiously uploading videos at that location for the last year, but I haven't gone back to my channel to sort of describe what's going on. So I noticed that a few subscribers have dropped off, and of course I don't blame anybody for that, but this is now the time where I gotta start talking about what I had always intended my YouTube channel to become, which is a story about how I became what I am, right? Or I guess that's sort of a pretentious way to put it, but a story about how I got to the place in life that I am, right? So the title of this video is going to be something to the effect of how to become a multimedia entrepreneur or a media entrepreneur. And of course, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in a band first and foremost, but it was always more than that. I always wanted to record the music. I wanted to design the albums. I wanted to take the pictures of the other musicians that I would be performing with. I wanted to be the manager. I wanted to book the shows. And so when I was in a punk band in high school, we sort of took that DIY spirit of being broke kids in a punk band, and we parlayed that into writing, recording, financing, publishing, everything, doing our first album completely from scratch in 2001. It's called The Land of a Thousand Sponges, right? So we did a photo shoot on my parents' pool table with my camera. We edited the cover with free software on my computer. We recorded the album on my computer with Cakewalk Home Studio and just some super old equipment that should have had no business recording an album in 2001. But it did, and ever since then I have been looking for a way to sort of combine all of these things together into a lifestyle first and foremost, but also into a career, like something that I could realistically make a living doing. Like I want to wake up every morning and I want to create media, whether it's my own personal media or media for other people. So eventually, as time went on, writing lyrics and writing liner notes became writing books, and my desire to see the world around me and to gain as much experience as I could ended up turning into a bunch of world travels with my buddy Kevin Sharon, and going back to school in 2012 to sort of solidify all of these things that I had been working on independently. So I had been recording music for people, I'd been producing shows, I had been running live sound, I've been writing, I had self-published my own books, and at the time I went back to school, I was kind of searching for a way to add cohesion to all of these elements. So let's start off with what it takes to be an entrepreneur first and foremost, not necessarily a media entrepreneur, but just an entrepreneur in general. And that is a lot of dedication, a good idea, and the ability to work with other people, okay? So as I move on with this channel and with this idea, I'd like to sort of examine all these concepts individually, but right now I'm just gonna kind of go through my own personal story and try not to have this be too long of a video. So anyway, let's get cracking here. I'm in my office, right? I'm gonna take you off the tripod, and we're gonna go on a little bit of a tour here. So my last video, I was putting together what became the show The Americas. All right, so you will remember these acrylic float frames, particularly this one right here, looking from the last video that I did on this channel. Now let me tell you, brothers and sisters, I have been through a whole lot since then. When I started working on this office space, Garrett Schelke and I were just getting ready to publish this book, and at that time I had only published A New Way Home, Borderline Vagabond, Whatever Happens Happens, and I had not officially released, but I had completed Kalamazoo Graffiti. And so now I am the publisher of these 6 fine books here, and of course The Americas corresponds with all of the photographs that are on the wall. And they tell the story of how I captured the photograph, or maybe where we were traveling, or what it meant to me. Basically, it's, you know, the story of how I got to where I am today artistically. These are my brother's digital illustrations, which are really cool. He draws these on an iPad, and I can't remember the software that he uses. Oh man, this one's really cool. It's hard to get. Obviously these reflections are ridiculous, but I can't get it to focus on here. There's just an incredible amount of detail on this stuff. I don't want to dwell on any one particular piece in general. Here's my polo shirt. We got some examples of other ways of printing out photographs here. This is actually like a film of Mylar that is mounted on poster board, and then the photos printed on that, as opposed to down here, which is a piece of aluminum that has the photo printed on it, and this thing is just really shiny. It's really cool. It catches the light in a really fun way. I actually got one of those done up of the peacock here as well, but I actually sold that one to a client back in March, and she's gonna send me a picture real soon of it above her fireplace at home. So let's go out in the hallway here, and I'll kind of talk a bit more about what I've been doing. So I don't really post a lot about my commercial work for obvious reasons, but these are some of the things that I've been doing for fun. This is the Judson, the bass player from Drink Their Blood, here, a local band in Kalamazoo, and they were kind enough to let me take some pictures of them. And then I've been doing some wedding photography, so this is one of my promo images from the wedding shoots that I've been doing. We'll go back around here. Obviously, I've been shooting concerts and events and portraits. I've been doing a little bit of product photography here for Kalamazoo Glassworks. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I mentioned earlier that an important aspect of entrepreneurship is establishing quality relationships, and that doesn't just mean with your customers, but it also means with your colleagues. And so what I didn't realize a year ago when I started operating out of this building was how valuable the other people in this actual building were going to be. So I think I'm going to walk you down my hallway and just kind of talk a little bit about the people that I work here with, and I'm assuming that air conditioner is really loud. So we'll cover this first guy here real quick, Nelson Leonard. He actually does similar stuff to me. He's been doing it a lot longer than me, so he's actually had a lot of really valuable advice. He's an architectural, landscape, and real estate photographer, which is something that I just started doing professionally as well as part of my portfolio. This right here was a project from Rhino Media, which is another media company in Kalamazoo started by a media entrepreneur, and they've been really successful in the last few years. You see their stuff all over the place. Moving on, here is Mike Clock from Stuff Brain Studio, And Mike's a really busy guy, dynamic personality. He does a lot of design for the local breweries, and he runs an event called Kalamazoo, where everybody gets together on a Wednesday night and draws, and it's a lot of fun. Right here is Medullary Studio, Jerry Hess. He's a client of mine as well as a friend, a family friend, and just an all-around good guy. He's been in this building for a long time. He knows just about everybody, and he's just a real pleasure to be around. He's very knowledgeable about woodworking and carpentry, but also about life and science and all sorts of fun stuff. Right here is Rick Cristofero. He's planning a show in October that I'm really pumped to see. He does abstract art, and it's sort of installation, assembled collage type stuff. It's really cool. He's also been a great help. He's been in the building for years and years and years, and I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of what I did this year without him and Jerry. Talking about that specifically, we'll go down here to the main shared gallery space. I'll actually keep walking around the main doors here so you can see in the window. Maybe you can see in the window. Hopefully I'm not too zoomed in. Anyway, so this gallery space here, you can't really see it. This gallery space here is where I did the installation of the Americas when I was finally done with it, and it's still set up the way that I had it. You probably can't see. Well, here we go. All the rails and stuff up there. And so I ended up getting this space because Rick had it reserved, but he ended up having to cancel his show, and he offered it to Jerry. Jerry wasn't really able to put a show together on such short notice, but I happened to be very close to completing the Americas series, and they offered it to me. So I was able to have a venue space for the release of my book and the actual photo series itself. So just taking a tour of just the people on my floor of this building, I can already sort of demonstrate to you how helpful the associations that I've built around me have been in my career, right? So a lot of these people are ultimately paying for me to live at this point. So I'm very close to being in a position to quit my day job and do media full time. That's photography, YouTube, videography for hire, design, web content creation, soundboard operation. I've got so many different types of projects on my list of things to do. You know, it runs the gamut from real estate photography to reading manuscripts for other people who are going to be publishing books, to mixing music for people, to recording audio, voiceover, podcasts, just doing quick commercials for people in After Effects. Basically anything that you could think of that someone would need to do to make their media project cohesive, right? Like, I don't try to limit myself to one thing, which is what a lot of traditional media professionals would recommend that you do, right? So a lot of people would say that you have to pick one thing and go for it. You know, maybe I should just be a photographer. Maybe I should just be a videographer. Maybe I should have just stuck with audio from 2001 and just never looked back. But as for me, that wouldn't be satisfying creatively. It wouldn't satisfy my creativity. So I like to be a part of big projects, and I like to see those projects all the way through, from concept to production to planning to budgeting to performance to the after marketing, like when we're going to be releasing video content of the live event. So I am just steeped like a tea bag of good vibes in the world of media arts and production, and I'm traveling all over the place, and I'm all over the state of Michigan and Indiana and Ohio. I'm still working with the people from Public Media Network locally. I'm judging film competitions, and you know, the art hops here in Kalamazoo allow me to open my gallery space once a month to let just random people in, the art-loving community members of Kalamazoo, and it's given me an opportunity to really talk to young up-and-coming artists and photographers about how they can do what I did. And so that has sort of been my inspiration to starting up my personal like vlog type YouTube videos again. So if you guys like this content, make sure to like, subscribe, rate, follow me on all the other social media type things. I do have a Patreon account. No one's funding me yet. I don't really blame them because I haven't really been putting out a lot of content for YouTube, but that's gonna change here. I'm going back to Peru in 6 weeks, so I think I might talk a little bit about getting ready for that, and I really want to keep these videos informal. Obviously, I'll still do a lot of produced content. I'll start uploading the Everyday Explorers episodes to this channel again as well. But I want to do a lot more stuff like this where I just kind of talk to you guys as an audience, and hopefully this is a way for you to give me a little bit of feedback on what you see me doing, and a good forum for you to ask me any questions that you might have. And let's continue on this journey together, because I just signed a lease today to be in this building for another year. So from where I came in July 2016, well, the end of July, beginning of August, when I had the idea and the money together to make this a reality, in that year's time, so much has happened in my life. It is going to take me 100 YouTube videos to explain it. So until then, I am Zach Elmblad. I am eternally grateful for anyone and everyone who watches my videos and tells me about it in the real world or in the comments below. So I'll talk to you soon, guys. Live your life. Love it. Peace.